Welcome once again to Castrol Activ Champions, and what a champion we've got for you today, the one and only Kapil Dev. Through the late 60s and early 70s, India's new ball was not an attack. It was somebody just turning their arm over till the spinners could come in to bowl. And then in 1978, suddenly this slightly rusty, gangly young man emerged from Haryana, and we all sat up and said, an Indian bowling quick? Because Kapil Dev was genuinely quick at that time. Jeffrey Boycott told me that on those early tours of England, first in 79 and then on that remarkable tour in 1982, remarkable for Kapil Dev as an individual, that he was really sharp and was swinging the ball at pace. And to all of us, it was just so wonderful, because quick was what people did against India. And all of a sudden, you had an Indian who was running up and bowling quick. It was wonderful. It was a joy to be around and be young in those days when an Indian was bowling fast. And then, of course, Kapil Dev realized that, as he said himself, that he had to bowl 25 overs in a day. You can't be a fast bowler and bowl 25 overs in a day, day in and day out. Because that was a phase when the great spinners were going away. There was a transition in India's bowling, and Kapil Dev emerged not just as the leader, but also the protector of India's bowling. Much like Castrol Activ Actibonds protect your bike engine, whether it's running or off. But it was that 1982 tour when he ignited that all-rounder debate. It was a great phase when Imran was bowling at his peak, Richard Hadley was around, and Kapil Dev and Ian Botham went head-to-head on that tour in 1982. But probably his finest hour as a new ball bowler came for India in 1981 in Melbourne. One of those rare test matches when Kapil Dev was injured, because remember, Kapil Dev never got injured. He played 131 test matches for India and did not have to miss a single game because of injury. But this 1981 Melbourne test, Australia had merely a handful of runs to score to win, and Kapil Dev could not take the field the previous evening because he had a thigh or a hamstring strain. I can't remember exactly which one. But Australia were 24 for 3 overnight. Karsan Ghavri had taken a wicket. I think Dilip Doshi had taken a wicket. And India suddenly were in with a chance of winning a rare test in Australia. It was an up and down track, and Kapil Dev came and he bowled like his life. All our lives depended on it. It was a magnificent spell of bowling. Go back and take a look at it if you can find it somewhere on YouTube. That spell of 5 wickets was fantastic and was one of India's greatest ever wins. That win in Melbourne, and Kapil Dev's 5-wicket spell was at the heart of it all. Then, of course, the 1983 World Cup. It's important to remember, before India went to that 83 World Cup, India had won one game against East Africa in 1975, nothing in 79, had lost to Sri Lanka, beat the West Indies, then again went through a losing patch, 1-2, lost 2 when they went to Tunbridge Wells. And with India's World Cup hopes in the balance, Kapil Dev walked in at 9 for 4, soon it was 17 for 5, and he got 175 from there. One of the greatest limited overs innings. Was never recorded, so you've just got to believe some people who were around at that time. I didn't see it, but I was following it very closely. 175 was magnificent, and by winning the World Cup, Kapil Dev showed what India were capable of. It was Kapil Dev's World Cup. There were many other great performances, but it was Kapil Dev's World Cup. And that day at Tunbridge Wells, a small little ground in Kent, Kapil Dev protected India's campaign at that 1983 World Cup, much like Castrol Activ's Actibonds protect your bike engine, whether running or off. Then, of course, Kapil Dev went back to England in 1986 as captain, and India won that series 2-0. It would be 21 years later that India would win a series again, and he bowled magnificently there again. 2-0 in 1986 was a great result. India might have won another World Cup under him in 1987, was a very good team. And then 1990 in England again. I remember it was my first tour of England, and India needed 24 to avoid the follow-on, with Hirwani at the other end. Kapil Dev blocked 2 balls. And then with Eddie Hemmings bowling at him, he went 6-6-6. Now what do? Do you take a single and try and keep strike? Nah, that wouldn't be Kapil Dev. He hit a fourth six. And then, of course, to complete that story, Hirvani got out immediately afterward, but India had avoided the follow-on. The lead was now just 199. Kapil Dev finally finished in 1994 as the leading wicket taker in world cricket at the time. 434 wickets, but to go with that, 5,248 test runs. When Kapil Dev came out to bat, you were always on the edge of a seat. What a stroke player he was. And when he retired, he said, God gave me the outswinger. Everything else I had to learn and work hard for. But more than anything else, Kapil Dev told us it was cool for an Indian to be a fast bowler. He was the first Indian fast bowler to get 10 wickets in a test match, and he did it twice. But he inspired a whole generation thereafter. You look back at Kapil Dev and you say, thank you very much. What a player for India, and we're delighted to have had him featured today on Castrol Activ Champions.